Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Man, is it humid this morning. Gracious. Cut it with a knife out here. Oh folks, are you ready to be poor? I'm sure many of you are chuckling right now and saying, brother, we already there. I understand that, but I mean like really poor, struggling financially. Understanding what being at the bottom of the barrel, the struggling to just survive, just scrape by, just make it work. Not the struggling to pay all your bills so you can have a decent home and decent vehicle and decent things. I'm talking about struggling just to survive. Because it's very likely it's where we're headed, at least for a lot of people. All the signs are showing that. Saw some more reports coming out this morning. All the big retailers, Walmart, Target, Costco, Amazon, all of them are reporting pretty major downturns in sales, profits, all that kind of stuff. People they're not buying as much. If you look at the total dollar of stuff, it's pretty close to what it's always been, but that's only because of inflation. It's only because most of the stuff you're buying in the grocery store is at least 25% higher than what it used to be. And no, I don't care about their little 9% reports. We all know that's hogwash. This is going to continue to get worse. I saw another news report this morning, a recent study. I believe it was, we'll call it the flyover states. Blue collar, hardworking American, middle America, that kind of stuff. Middle to lower class folks are reporting that they need to use 90%, 91% of their income just to survive, just to get by, just to pay their groceries and their utilities and their house payment, their car payment, just to live. Not extras, not savings, not, enjoyments in life. The reason why you can go back and see old pictures and old film from the Great Dust Bowl and the Great Depression era, and you see these folks sitting down for a Christmas dinner eating a bowl of steamed cabbage and sliced turnips, walking around barefoot, using flour sack to make their clothes because they were barely getting by. They were working hard, way harder than you and I work. I mean, I'm not saying some of you don't work really hard. I'm sure a lot of you work harder than I do. We're not talking that kind of hard work. I mean, these people were struggling just to live every day. And that was America. And it was only about a century ago, folks. The likelihood of America getting to that place again is getting much more likely. It's pretty much well known now, and I mean, it's not official. Numbers will be out, I think, Thursday. I think most Americans realize that we're in a recession. I've been saying we've been in a recession a while. In fact, I remember back in the spring, I said it in a video, and someone jumped on me and said, "You must not know what a recession means. You have to have 2 negative quarters of GDP, and we haven't had that yet." Yes, I'm well aware of that. And I'm talking about recession on Main Street, recession in your home, in your pocketbook, a recession of just normal Americans. That's been happening for a while, and I think we're getting close, not stock market, not global and national economic level. I'm talking about Main Street level. We're getting close to that depression level of finances. And while we may not have the great dust bowl that just happened and is encouraging it, we do have major droughts, major supply chains, all kinds of stuff that's going on. And, you know, funding a war in Europe and tiptoeing through to a war with China. And our economy is just, it's collapsing in on itself. So back to the question, are you ready to be poor? You know, there's that meme that's gone around for a long time. You know, you're going to find out why your grandma saved her aluminum foil and stuff like that. Well, you are. You most definitely are. And I think that's going to be the hardest for us as Americans to get through this, and not all of you, but America as a whole, is because we're so wasteful, and we expect things to happen on demand and at our fingertips and easy and cheap and luxurious. You know, how many Americans could even imagine sitting down and eating boiled cabbage every day for 3 years? I mean, they don't. They have to have their foods that's imported all over the world, and, you know, super crunchy this and super, you know, fancy this. So it's going to be a struggle for a lot of Americans. It already is. And I think the handwriting's on the wall that it's most likely going to get worse. I mean, certainly there's a possibility. There's a possibility that, you know, it may only get a little worse and then start to get better. But there's just too much pushing us down that road of economic collapse. And we have to get ready for that. Yeah, I know most of you are way more ahead of the curve than anyone else. You mean, that's why you watch channels like mine and others. You've prepped, you're working on your psychological preparedness, getting your family ready, becoming as self-sufficient as possible, you know, moving your money into hard assets and to, you know, other things that you need, you know, brass and lead and all that kind of stuff. But I still think that it's going to hit us hard too. And we have to be ready for that. Gnats are really liking me this morning, all this sweat. The stuff that we've seen all over the world happen in the last few years, India, Sri Lanka, Venezuela, things that happen on a fairly frequent basis in parts of Africa, where people are desperate. They're really, really desperate. They're sick and tired of being hungry. They're sick and tired of eating small meals of the same bland, boring thing every day. They're sick and tired of working so hard and having nothing. You see, that's part of this, shall we call it, American dream, that's kept America going, and is this illusion that, you know, if you work hard enough, you can survive, have enough to get by with, and have a little extra to have life enjoyment. And that's what keeps people subdued. It's kind of part of that human farming philosophy that we won't go into today. But once people realize that I'm working my butt off, I mean, I'm working hard, and I don't have any time or any money to enjoy life. None. I mean, I'm barely staying alive. My kids are barely fed. That's when the mentality changes. That's when people change. And your modern, civilized, educated neighbor that, you know, even though they're a tree hugger, you know, they couldn't imagine hurting anything. You know, they're vegan and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. It's only because they haven't been real hungry and had to really work hard just to survive. just to be able to wake up the next day. They start getting to that point, the things that we've seen in these other countries are probably going to seem like nothing. Because see, in most of these other countries that it's happened in recent times, I would guess that most of those people are a little tougher than Americans on an individual basis. Their life isn't quite as luxurious. You know, they have to work a little bit harder just to survive, just to get by. And so they have a little bit more grit than Americans do. And so when it got bad and all collapsed, that grit kind of helped them along a little bit, gave them a little bit of a head start. Too many Americans have zero grit. I know that I'm judgmental. What can I say? No, I honestly am not. I'm just telling you, they're not. You know, get online, go out in public. I hate going out in public, and I don't go very much if I can avoid it. And if I do, it's just these little local, small places out here in the sticks. But it doesn't take too long to figure out how fragile Americans have become. And when that 91% number that I told you earlier of just to survive, when that becomes 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 105%, meaning that they're not making enough money just to survive. When that starts getting that way, and I don't think we're too far away from that, yeah, you're going to start seeing more of the problems that we've already been seeing. And that's the thing. We've already been seeing it. We've already been seeing the violence and the looting. You know, it's funny. If you go back a couple of years ago, they were looting, you know, Armani stuff, and I don't even know all the fancy names. I couldn't care less about all Gucci and, you know, high-end Nike shoes and fancy perfumes and jewelry stores. Now, you know what they're looting? They're looting cigarettes. They're looting over-the-counter medicines. They're stealing laundry detergent and hamburger. You know, I mean, is there really a big black market for, you know, cheap laundry detergent and a, you know, 10-pound tube of Walmart hamburger? Come on. Not saying that these people are starving necessarily, but they're seeing that there is a market for just common goods to live by. Where in the past, you know, stealing and stuff, you got things that there was a market, the black market for jewelry and other valuable items. You know, people that were a little dishonest or a lot dishonest would pay a tenth of the price for something and knowing that it was stolen. Now, it's just items to live off of. That is going to grow. People already in America act like they've lost their minds. They already act like they've turned into animals. Some people are already getting that way, where the violence and the absolute craziness is getting worse. This is going to spread, very likely. And it's going to get hard in the areas of civility and of safety and violence, security, all that kind of stuff. And it's going to get hard for you just to survive, just to make it. Things are going to get expensive. You know, paying your utility bill may become very difficult. Some of you already has it been. You need to start thinking about that. We're not talking preparing for nuclear war or a big EMP or, you know, that kind of stuff. Are you prepared to be dirt, squalor, poor? Are you prepared to live that way? To just scratch out an existence? Because it's a very good likelihood, or at least it's getting better, that's where America is headed in all this. That's part of this great reset plan. You'll own nothing and be happy. Great World Economic Forum, I think it was just yesterday, posted an article about how you shouldn't own vehicles. Cars are just bad. You need to get rid of them. You don't need to own them. You don't need to own them. That's what, you know, Uber services and stuff are. Get rid of your cars. They're bad. You know, you should be ashamed that you own a car. They're conditioning people for this. Everybody needs to move in the city. Need to downsize your apartments. Don't need to own appliances or anything like that. You know, you don't need to own anything. You don't need to. Get used to eating bugs, mealworms, crickets, you know, cheap lab created meat that Lord only knows what it actually does to you. This is what they're preparing us for. This is what they want, okay? You know, and then of course the end goal is, you know, reduction of human population and all that kind of stuff, yes. But for right now, folks, you need to be prepared to be dirt poor. Get prepared for that in that way. Learn what our ancestors, what our forefathers, what our grandparents and stuff lived like, how they lived, how they survived it. If you have some that are still around, talk to them. If not, get out some books and documentaries, because I think in the very least, that's where we're headed. And it could even be worse. At least they still had a currency that had somewhat of its value. Folks, get ready for this. I'm telling you, this isn't doomsday, fear porn, whatever. This is hardcore, serious stuff. We're already seeing it, 91%, and numbers just keep getting worse every day. Get your houses in order, folks. Prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.